when they mentioned earlier this year, talked about making housing a human right. What does that exactly mean? Nobody really knows. And that's sort of the challenge of sort of business planning as a result of that, right? You don't know necessarily the steps that we'll have to go through if, with no fault evictions. Obviously, it's going to probably be more money, but having to pull permits, like you mentioned, to be able to follow through with that. Let's just say they leave a lot of investors and landlords in a position of not being 100% comfortable with what is happening because they don't really know 100% of what's happening and where it's necessarily going to lead. I would say one of the things I've heard most about, it follows from the eviction moratorium that was put in place following the onset of the pandemic and sunset last year. But I know there's a lot of concern out there too that if we run into a recession with that already being established of having an eviction moratorium in place because of a public health emergency, it's been expressed to me by several that, well, perhaps an economic emergency like a recession could also lead to a eviction moratorium. So I think the uncertainty is probably one of the biggest points that I suppose just leads to a lot of uncertainty, if you will.